Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video here. Today we're going to be doing a little different. We are going to be taking a look at the top 5 decks that didn't win the World Championships, but it would have been cool if they did a little bit better. Let's take a look.
If you're planning on buying any cards from TCG Player, make sure you use our affiliate link right here in the description of our video to help support the channel. It's the best way to do it and it's free.
Looking for PTGO codes? Poton Store has all the latest sets and promos, instantly delivered to your email. You can use Tablemon code when checking out for 5% off. Card Market is Europe's largest online marketplace for Pokemon cards. Whether you're looking for sealed product or singles, vintage or the latest sets, just follow the link in the description to find what you need. This video is sponsored by the Pokemon TCG deck building website PokemonCard.io. First off, and I guess tooting my own horn, is Regigigas. Yeah, Regigigas was, I feel like, a very good call for Worlds. I certainly underestimated the amount of flying Pikachus that would be showing up. And this list is 3 cards different from my Worlds list. There's a copy of Path to a Peak over a copy of Pokestop, though there is an argument to play 2 Paths and 2 Pokestops. And there are 2 super effective classes along with 2 choice builds, as opposed to the 4 choice builds that I played at Worlds. Now, super effective classes has a lot of really cool uses. Number 1 being you get to one-shot a Flying Pikachu VMAX if you with Regieleki. So if you manage to attack them with Regice, then they have to go to a bench for a turn, and then you can go boss super effective classes. You get to finish them off, so maybe that's a way you can deal with Flying Pikachu. It's not great, it's not easy to pull off, but it is a possibility. But you also get the benefit of attaching super effective classes on turn 1 to Regieleki, attaching an energy to Regieleki, and being able to knock out a Sobble on turn 1, which is pretty funny to do. And yeah, so Regigigas is at its best when it's least expected. When people don't respect Regigigas and when people don't tech for Regigigas, then that is when Regigigas excels. When Regigigas is a threat and Regigigas is expected and it's teched and accounted for with Empoleon V, with Flying Pikachu VMAX, and Sinnoh Temple and Collapse Stadium, then it has a rougher time. But overall, I feel like this deck, you need to consider this deck as a real threat, and many players will just accept another loss to it or a bad matchup to it, and that can really hinder them. Now, by playing the super effective classes at that count of 2-2, you do weaken your Mew VMAX matchup, because now you don't have a way to one-shot Mew VMAX, so you'll probably end up needing either to hit the choice build at the right time, which is one of the things we're trying to avoid, or I was trying to avoid by playing 4, or maximizing rather, by playing 4, or what you need to do is attack with Regieleki and put 40 damage on the damaged Mews and just 2-shot them. The price trade is still in your favor, but it's just a little bit harder. But outside of that matchup, everything else, whatever you're one-shotting with the choice build, you're one-shotting with the super effective classes if you're hitting for weakness. So it only matters against VMAX, because even against Ice Rider VMAX, it doesn't matter anymore, because now instead of using Regigigas, you get to use Registeel with a super effective, you get to one-shot them as well. So Regigigas, I definitely feel like I could have placed it much higher at the World Championships if I hadn't made that silly mistake. Deck number 2 is Arceus Aggron VMAX. If you had told me before the tournament that someone was going to place in the top 16 at the World Championships with Aggron VMAX, I would have told you, I don't even know what Aggron VMAX does, but I will take that bet. And I would have lost it, because this deck got top 16. Aggron VMAX definitely has some potential, as shown at Worlds, and I fully expect people to play around with this card, and at least one of this to make day 2 at Baltimore is coming in 2 weeks time, because max takedown does 270, and with the Galarian 6 again you do 280, which is, or with choice build you get up to 300, which are the magic numbers to be hitting to 1KO V-Star Pokemon. So you have a VMAX that can 1KO V-Stars, that's usually pretty good, and that follows with the theme that we have currently in the decks that we're showcasing today. Outside of that, you're an Arceus deck, You have no healing, so you're always at a disadvantage against any Arceus deck that has Sheer and Scare, but you compensate for that with the 1-KO potential. So give or take, but pretty cool approach and pretty cool deck, and I do expect this to show up to Baltimore. Next up, we have Grant Manley's and Azul's Ice Rider Palkia deck. Pretty cool deck to see. It combines both of them with a Bibarel, Crobat, Radiant Greninja, Pumpkaboo Mew, Pigumuku engine rather than Inteleon, so then you're not weak to Jolteon, which was heavily played at the Pokemon World Championships as well. One of the things that I did predict, and one of the things that I could have sworn I would be playing Inteleon at the World Championships, but I ended up not playing Inteleon at the World Championships, surprisingly. But yeah, this deck's pretty cool, hits hard and fast, especially with Ice Rider Remix. You are getting those one-shots against V-Star Pokemon, and then Palkia V-Star is just a really powerful attacker, worth 2 prizes, and can immediately power up the other attackers such as Empoleon, such as Ice Rider VMAX, and even Radiant Greninja to threaten the bench. And they even played a copy of Canceling Cologne, which I thought was pretty cool to see. No copy of Boss's Orders is also very interesting, but since they do have the V-Star to power up, they can afford to Irida continuously power up and then use Cross Switcher as well. So very nice balance of consistency, and they don't have to rely on Melanie every turn as most Inteleon based decks that feature Ice Rider Palkia VMAX have to do. So yeah, pretty cool deck, pretty cool concept, and I definitely think we will be seeing a lot of this deck at Baltimore. Next up, we have a good old Palkia V-Star deck, but it is playing Jolteon and Memory Capsule to turn off abilities from other water-type Pokemon. Now, of course, you have to be very careful when shutting off abilities, because you do have water Pokemon such as Radiant Greninja, Palkia V-Star, and Pollen V, and Lumineon V that you might want to utilize, and that is why they're playing Shopping Center to get back the Pokemon Tool cards, use your abilities, and then reattach the Memory Capsule to Jolteon, which is pretty fair. Yeah, pretty good strategy, pretty unique, and this deck did get top 3-2 at the World Championships, so perhaps there's merit to exploring more of it. I do like the combination of attackers with Palkia, Empoleon, and Starmie as well as an option. Of course, you also get Radiant Greninja with the V-Star Portal, but what I don't like is the 2 Melanies. I feel like this deck definitely would like an extra Melanie so that you're not relying so much on V-Star Portal, especially with only 7 energies attached. I mean, 7 energies available. I do feel like that's a little on the risky end, but top 32, not a bad choice. I mean, not a bad result, right? And a pretty cool deck. If you're trying to play Palkia but trying to be more original, I do like the idea behind this deck. And finally, we have Ross Cawthon's Charizard list. Really cool deck, really cool concept. You want to lead with an Inteleon as an attacker, give up a few prizes, not more than 1 or 2, and then just go in with Zard each and every turn, get those one-shots, get going with the damage against your opponent, and be able to beat them down that way. Yeah, now against Mewtwo, Mewtwo V Union, you do have to be very careful, and you have to manually power up Radiant Charizard. But once you do, you can, thanks to Zigzagoon and thanks to multiple scoop up nets, you can set yourself up for a one-shot on the Mewtwo V Union, which makes that matchup winnable, and then Radiant Charizard can one-shot each and every other V-Star Pokemon out there, so that's definitely really, really good, and means as the game goes on for longer, since you can only give up 1 prize card at a time, you will be favored most of the time. So as long as you don't fall too far behind too quickly, games should be in your favor, and with Inteleon you can search for anything you need when you need it, and that's the dream, right? So those are the top 5 decks that didn't win Worlds, but it would have been cool if they did. That's way too long for a thumbnail, so that's why it's not called that. But if you're going to Baltimore, definitely expect to see these sort of quirkier decks, especially as it's the last tournament in this format before Lost Origins. I feel like most people are looking for original options, decks that are not the cookie cutter Palkia V-Star, Arceus decks, or even the World Champion, which you expect a lot of people to just take that list that was good enough to win the World Championships and play to Baltimore. So these are different options that you can play, which are, I'm not going to say they're more fun, because to me the most fun is when you win, and whatever deck lets me win the most is the most fun, right, for me. But different styles, different approaches, and different ways to enjoy the game. So if any of these pique your interest, definitely give them a try. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.